Once again, a very hearty welcome to the English world of Aradhya. I am Rashmin sir, teaching English to the students of standard 9 to 12 in English medium. So students, today we will take your second poem. The title of the poem is quite lengthy. An elementary school classroom in a slum. So you can just get the idea from the title only that it is about a school classroom of a slum area. Now you see, all the developing countries will have these slum areas, okay, and many are trying to just wipe it away by constructing certain houses for them. Even in India we have started that scheme, okay. If you remember, 2-3 years back, government had come out with the scheme of 50,000 houses, and many people just filled the form for that and they got the house also, okay. So government doesn't want this slum in any country because they want to show the development. But here this is the reality, that slum will be found in every developing country. They are not that developed. Only some part of the country is highly developed. Remaining people either are living in the village side where their houses are also not pakka houses, okay. They are living in the almost huts, and in city such underprivileged people, they live in slums, okay. So the poet has highlighted the pain of such people. The poet Stephen Spender has highlighted in this poem the future of such children who are studying in such slum schools. Understood? So it seems that these people are underprivileged compared to the children of the hi-fi society. They are highly privileged, while these children of the slum area are underprivileged. So students, there are many issues related to them, okay. First, if they don't get the proper education, their condition is very miserable. They don't earn well, they can't get 2 times meal, as we saw in that second chapter, okay. Sahib and Mukesh, they were living in such an area where they did not get 2 times meal also. So same is the reality in many parts of India. So these people, if they can't manage their 2 times meal, how will they think of going to a very good school where all the facilities are available? If they go for that, they will have to pay that much amount of fees, which they cannot. That's why we consider them underprivileged. So here the poet contrasts two worlds. One world that is of civilized people. They are living in good houses. Their area is quite nice compared to the slum areas, okay. They enjoy the other facilities also, while all those facilities are missing in the slum world. So those children's future is a question mark for most of them, okay. So here, while describing this poem, the situation of these children, the poet describes the children, what sort of children go to such schools. Then he describes the condition of the classrooms of such schools. How are the classrooms? If you go to any hi-fi school, high-tech school, you will find rooms quite wide open with enough ventilation, okay, with AC facilities and many other facilities, okay. It would look very clean and neat and tidy. While if you go to any slum school, you may not feel like entering the school because the walls are very dirty. They have not been painted for a long time, okay. They have grown yellowish because of not being painted for such a long time. The roof may be leaking, the furniture may be outdated of many years back, okay. And children come over there, they are also like that. They are not having the proper uniform. Some of them are deformed. Deformed means some physical defect they have, okay. So they are poor, they cannot afford all this. Some children, you find them, they are the victims of malnutrition. Malnutrition means they did not get the nutritious food, and because of that there this condition is there, and they cannot afford to go to some hi-fi school. Okay, let me read out first about the poet. This poem is written by Stephen Spender. His lifetime is given 1909 to 1995. He was an English poet and an essayist, but basically he was known as an essayist. But he has written some touching poems, okay, very appealing poems. He left University College, Oxford, without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Now, when I was reading this, students, I was wondering, कि people work hard, okay, strive hard to get the admission in Oxford. This fellow was already studying in the Oxford University, and then also he left, that also before taking his degree. Understood? So he left his studies, higher studies, incomplete, and went to Berlin, okay, in 1930. Berlin is again capital of Germany. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Okay, so he was equally interested in politics, and that's why he left his degrees. Okay, in politics you don't require any degree. That is the only field. Everywhere else you go, you will have to produce some or the other certificate. If you know plumbing work, if you apply for the job, the certificate of plumber also you will have to produce. Okay, देना पड़ेगा. जबकि पॉलिटिक्स ऐसी फील्ड है जिसमें कोई डिग्री की जरूरत नहीं है. सो दैट्स व्हाई ही लेफ्ट ऑक्सफोर्ड विदाउट टेकिंग हिज डिग्री. ओके, एंड देन ही डिक्लेयर्ड हिमसेल्फ टू बी अ सोशलिस्ट, okay, and pacifist. Pacifist means the one who believes in peace, okay, peaceful coexistence of everyone. So, books of Spender include poems of dedication. If you look at his books, in that these poems of dedication, so there are so many poems written by him. The Age of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an Autobiography. These all are his famous books. World Within World, that is also another book by him. In an elementary school classroom in a slum, he has concentrated on themes of social injustice and class inequalities, as I told you. Here we can easily make out two classes. See, in India we have normally caste system, but if you go to all the developed countries, okay, developed countries, they have class system. There nobody is poor. There most of the people have only one caste, that is Christians. Most of the developed countries are Christians. Few of them are Muslim countries, highly developed countries I am talking about. So there they don't have any caste system. There they have class system. Okay, there nobody is poor. Everybody get their 2 times meal quite easily. So there their this thing is what we say. Their measurement is done according to their class. बराबर, उनका जजमेंट होता है, उनका माप होता है कैसे, उनके क्लास के हिसाब से कि ये कौन से क्लास में आते हैं, अपर क्लास में आते हैं, मिडिल क्लास में आते हैं या लोअर क्लास में आते हैं. सो देयर द पीपल आर जज्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर क्लास एंड देयर क्लास फॉल्स अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर इनकम. इवन द लोअर क्लास पर्सन मे बी अर्निंग मोर देन द हायर क्लास पर्सन अर्निंग इन इंडिया. इंडिया में जो हायर क्लास का बंदा है वो जितना कमाता है उससे ज़्यादा वहाँ लोअर क्लास का बंदा कमाता होगा. So there they don't have caste system, there they have class system, and people are judging such people based on the class only. So those who are earning less, they go into lower class. Those who are earning average, little more than average, that is middle class, and those who are earning very much, okay, very great income, then they are falling into the upper class. So here he shows in this poem the class inequalities. Okay, one side you have civilized world, means all the people of the higher class, upper class, who are enjoying all the facilities because their income is that much. That's why they are known as privileged people. On the other side you have another class, that is the slum people, you can say, the lower class. So we can call them underprivileged because they cannot enjoy certain facilities due to the lack of income. Their income is less. But here, students, in this particular poem, he talks about this class more, underprivileged, the people of slum area, okay, and shows us how inequalities are shown to them, how they are becoming the victims of injustice. Okay, let me read out the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper swimming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. One his lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room. Other than this, of sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belled flowery Tyrolese valley, open-handed map awarding the world its world, and yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. Okay, so students, I have read out just the half poem. In that we get the description of the children also and description of the classroom where they go to study. Okay, how are the classrooms of such a school which is situated in a slum area. So now right from the beginning we will see each line. So that's why I have written here the description of the children and description of the classroom. That much we will see in this part. Okay, far, far from gusty waves. Here gusty waves means the civilized world. So all these children are far away from this civilized world. They live in the same city. Okay, you, for example, you can say the people living that side of the river means Western Ahmedabad, and people living in the Eastern Ahmedabad. Okay, so the areas like backward areas you can talk about, where the children people are struggling for 2 times meal, and those areas here are highly crowded, very much congested areas. If you go on the road, you may not see the road only. So many people are out on the road. Okay, certain areas, I don't want to name them, but you can make out. Okay, so in such areas, and the other side you have the areas like Navrangpura, Naranpura, highly developed areas. So here you can easily draw that demarcation line between the developed area and undeveloped area. So that's why it is said that far, far from gusty waves. So gusty waves is nothing but the civilized world, we can say. The people who are enjoying all the facilities over there. So that's why gusty waves here stands for the civilized society, which according to the facilities we can find on that side of the river, Sabarmati river. That is Navrangpura, Naranpura type areas. These children's faces of the eastern areas. Okay, they are living in the slum type area, chawls. Okay, so their faces are far away from such area. So the children of such area, they cannot match that area. Okay, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Now the poet describes the children of such area like rootless weeds. Weeds means unnecessary grass that grows in the field. Rootless means it is now not connected with the land, it is taken out from the land. Okay, pulled out from the land. So it is disconnected. That grass, if you throw anywhere, it will fall in any condition. So like those, these children's hair are also not properly combed. They look unkempt. On hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means their pale face. If you observe those children, you won't find life on their children. You won't find life shine on their faces. Understood? They look very pale, they look very weak, feeble. Okay. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now then they describe one particular girl. That one particular girl is what? That tall girl in the class, and she has that weighed down head, means she has some tension, she is sad, with down head. Okay, so she is very sad over there. She has come to the classroom, but she looks very sad. The paper swimming boy. Then they describe another boy. Another boy is how? Almost like paper. Means that much thin he is. It seems that he is not getting food at all. इतना दुबला पतला है, बराबर. With rat's eyes. And how are his eyes? His eyes are like that of rats. Okay, bulged out eyes. Okay, and that is a disease, students. You will have observed such people who have eyes a bit outer. Okay, not in their proper places, but a bit bulged out. बराबर, बाहर निकली हुई आंखें होगी. So this boy is almost looking like a paper, very thin, and his eyes are like that bulged out. The stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones. Heir means what we say, वारिस. तो यहाँ they describe another boy who is what? He is considered unlucky heir. Lucky heir, lucky वारिस कौन सा होता है? जिसको पेरेंट्स के पास से बहुत कुछ मिलता है, पेरेंट्स की सभी प्रॉपर्टी और वो सब उसके हाथ में आती है. ईयर उसके हाथ में क्या आया? ये बच्चे के हाथ में. दे डिस्क्राइब अनदर बॉय द स्टंटेड अनलकी. स्टंटेड मीन्स डिसफिगर्ड. ओके, मे बी ही हैज सम हैंडीकैपनेस. ओके, ही इज हैंडीकैप्ड. मे बी when he in his childhood he did not get all those vaccines. If you are not getting polio vaccines, what will happen? Your legs and hands would be easily just affected because you have not taken that polio vaccine. So like that person is over here. Now he has twisted bones. His hands and legs, by looking at his hands and legs you can make out. And what? Reciting a father's gnarled disease. It seems that his father also had the same disease. And now that disease he has got, okay, in his physical heritage. So that's how this boy is mentioned over here. His lesson from his desk. He is sitting at his place only, okay, and learning his lesson from there only. He cannot get up. He doesn't have that power. Means he has physical deformities. Understood? So because of that physical deformity, he cannot get up. He has to keep seated at his place. Okay, students, remaining poem we will see very soon. Okay.